Sir?
Till you climb inside of his skin, walk around in it.
People are just always scared of what they don't know. It's just natural human tendency.
If you don't have personal experience with something, it leads to a lot of assumptions and a lot of stereotypes.
I'm out to my family, and a lot of people watch Queer as Folk to try and learn about my lifestyle. Well, that doesn't represent my life at all, and neither does Will and Grace or any of these other things where people are getting their information from.
You hear about people that are, think, oh, gay people, like they want these rights because they want the right to be able to go do all these illegal, illicit activities and, do scary things to each other, and they don't understand what it is. It's just a natural lifestyle. We don't engage in these crazy activities. I've never done an illegal drug. I don't intend to. I don't do all different fetish activities they associate with gay people.
The issue of homosexual behavior is really what is relevant here, not a matter of the internal psychological experience of their attractions.
Why would anyone choose this lifestyle when you have so much animosity and prejudice? And I mean, why would you choose this? I mean, it doesn't even make logical sense.
I do believe that people can change from homosexual to heterosexual. But if a person does not want to do that, or is not motivated to do that, or tries and fails to do that, then I would tell them to abstain from sexual relations altogether.
5 months, not much. But that don't bother me so much because it's a little bit tight, but we can do it and it will be spectacular.
It's impossible to define an agenda of an entire group of millions of people.
You could call it terrorism, nonviolent actions, but terroristic.
There is absolutely a gay agenda. Beware, equality.
Terroristic in terms of making people fear to oppose their agenda.
On the other hand, of course there's a gay agenda. We want to not be treated badly, and we have been treated badly for a very long time.
It is to win the full acceptance of homosexual behavior as being totally equivalent to heterosexual behavior, morally, legally, religiously, and in every other way by society.
Once we achieve not being treated badly, do we want to not be treated badly? And by treated badly, I don't just mean people don't like us. I mean people are beaten up, denied housing, denied jobs, unrecognized, thrown out by their own families, including their parents or their children.
Let us vote! Let us vote!
I believe that one man and one woman is the way God intended marriage to be.
But the next thing we want, after not being treated badly, is being treated well.
The rights of minority groups should never be voted on by a majority of people. It's not equality.
And that means given full respect and being treated in the same way that other people are treated, both legally and culturally. Is that a gay agenda? I suppose, but I think it's everybody's agenda. I don't know how that makes gay people different from anybody else.
They would rather change the attitudes of society than change their behavior to conform to the standards that most of society holds.
Qu'est-ce qui se passe, Simon?
Le président Berthier est mort.
Le président? Oh, mon Dieu.
Dans les bras d'une femme. Une prostituée.
Dans les bras d'une...
Et mineure en plus.
Non.
Mineure et noire.
Comment?
I think rather the movement for same-sex marriage is a culmination of the movement for sexual liberation, a movement whose fundamental principle is not that everyone should marry, but that everyone should be free to engage in whatever sexual relations they want to at any time with anyone they want to, and nobody else should have anything to say about it.
You look at Massachusetts, where about 5,000 gay and lesbian couples have been married in the last 10 months. And the sky hasn't fallen in Massachusetts. It hasn't slipped into the ocean. The milk is not curdling in the cows. Massachusetts is still pretty much what it was a year ago.
You're launching a really big idea. It has big consequences for people who disagree and for their institutions and for their children and for their public schools. And you have to take, if you're going to advocate for it, you have to take responsibility. The upside of doing that is that you might find it a little less scary that there are people out there who are really seriously concerned about gay marriage, because they recognize that it in fact will affect their community, their families, their children, their culture, and that there are real reasons to be concerned.
You know, people had an idea of what gay and lesbian people are, and then suddenly they saw in the pouring rain thousands of couples standing on line outside of San Francisco City Hall just for the chance to get a marriage license and have the city of San Francisco declare their marriages to be real. And I think that was a really wonderful image for Americans to see.
In any wedding, it's like that. When you're actually there, it becomes a very sacred moment. And I think that's more what calls to me, is the sacredness of the moment. And I didn't see male or female. I don't see the sex, because it's about the love and it's about the connection between the two human beings.
And once you have love as your principled argument, how are you to deny, for example, the North American Man-Boy Love Association, which is, nobody knows this, but they are in the forefront, if these things go forward, of asking for marriage for themselves? How about polygamy? How about incest?
Research has shown homosexuality to be associated with higher rates of sexual promiscuity, sexually transmitted diseases, mental illness, substance abuse, domestic violence, and child sexual abuse. So I certainly would not consider homosexuality to be innocuous or harmless.
I tell people now, you know, you complained when we were classified as promiscuous.
The research shows that homosexuals are less likely to enter into long-term partnerships in the first place, less likely to remain sexually faithful to a partner even if they have one, and less likely to remain committed for a lifetime than are heterosexual married people. I believe that if same-sex marriage were legalized, then those trends would become more common and more accepted among the heterosexual population as well.
And now you complain when we make a commitment. You can't have it both ways.
Yeah. Make up your mind.
You can't have it both ways. I mean, we're trying to strengthen the institution of marriage. We're not trying to break it down. I mean, Lord knows the heterosexual community hasn't done a good job with it, with the divorce rate at 50%.
Yeah. And will we be a cure-all? Absolutely not.
And
We're still going to have divorces. It's, you know, but still, there's a certain strength in numbers, and you've got thousands of families here that want to marry, that want their relationships recognized, and they do need the protection that only civil marriage license can give them. It will not happen in any other way. You cannot give us a separate title, because it is not going to be equal. It will never be equal. We will always be a second-class citizen, and I will not accept that.
I am dubious about the idea that either that marriage is going to be a great benefit delivery system for the gay community, or that you're going to find that gay marriage becomes the norm in the gay community. My reading is that gays in this country as a broad community, are supporting marriage as a right, not as a norm.
A moderate position on this is that we can't tolerate prejudice. That's considered the far extreme position, contrasted equally to the far extreme position that says, these people are horrible, sinful, I don't want them around me. And so the moderate position is that we have to split the difference, find something in the middle. What is in the middle of we can't tolerate prejudice and hate against a group of people?
And now we're starting on number 2. We decided we want to go for number 2, so we're working with, instead of adoption agency this time, for no reason, we just wanted to try something new. We're doing a private adoption, is where we hire an attorney.
I think that once people really get to know a homosexual and say maybe have one in their family or one in their community who's a positive influence, they'll come to understand that being gay is not a sin. It's not a dirty thing.
Well, they engage in a behavior which they know only a small minority of the population engages in. A significant percentage, a majority of the population finds it morally wrong.
People will not support the gay and lesbian community or gay marriage unless they've met a gay person who've affected their life in some way, and they've asked for their support. That's what gay and lesbian people have to do over the next several years, is ask Americans for their support and make a real articulate case about why it's necessary.
Until it gets to the point that it's saturated the culture enough and we've gotten rid of some of the prejudices in the generations that have them, we're not going to be able to raise kids who don't have those prejudices.
When our grandparents were our age, I don't think anyone really even talked about it. Now at least there's this dialogue going on. People know it's out there.
What we need to do is allow people the opportunity to sit with gay marriage and same-sex marriage for a while, because when they do, they will realize no one's life is really affected by this, except the people who have the opportunity to have the same 1,800 legal protections and rights that they're currently not entitled to because they don't have access to a marriage license. That's it.
Once you set the terms of debate of having gay marriage or not having gay marriage, if we lose because of prejudice, and there's no getting around that. And the more we encourage that kind of prejudice in our society, the more gay people are hurt. Not only because of not getting the legal rights that they want their families to be able to secure, but also because it creates a rise of homophobic violence, it creates a rise of homophobic prejudice.
What I want for myself in the future is to sort of, I guess, be like everybody else and be accepted like everybody else.
If I'm right, which is a big if, it's not in the interests of gays and lesbians to move to gay marriage, because gay people also need a social institution that's about directing opposite sex attraction towards, making the next generation and connecting those children to their mothers and fathers. Because if I'm right, it's a necessary social institution. We all need it to transmit our society into the future, including a society that has respect for tolerance and for the rights of gay people.
I don't want anything more than what my brother and his brother have with their wives. The same title as a spouse, the same benefits, even the same liabilities.
Before this whole thing started, nobody particularly cared who was having sex with whom or how many or under what conditions, unless it became a public health problem. And short of that, I don't think anybody really does care. The only reason that I and people that I know like me got involved in this thing, never got involved in a public thing in my life, was because marriage was under attack, and marriage was vulnerable because a lot of people were simply saying, oh, well, this will go away. It didn't go away. They had no intention of letting it go away. So that would be my take on that. But for this, we wouldn't be here.
Aren't we big enough to accept us? I mean, I'm the face of many, many Americans who are living a fairly middle-class lifestyle, just asking to be recognized.
When they do research that looks at the question of who is opposed to gay marriage, the greatest predictor is not religious affiliation, it's not political affiliation, it's not what party people belong to, it's age. People over 50 are far, far less likely to approve of gay marriage. People under 25 are far, far more likely to approve of gay marriage. Everything else is secondary.
Yeah.
Go ahead. She's being nice, easy.
She's caressing her. Oh, very sweet.
Look at Yeah, you're so good. You're so good.
You're so good with her.
And she's this one's actually a very squirmy baby. Most newborns, you can wrap them up in what the nurses call a baby burrito. Every time I do that with her, the hands move up out of the way and stuff like that.
I think that America really needs to take a forward role in accepting homosexuals.
I do believe that people can change from homosexual to heterosexual.
All these rights, and 1,800 more I'm not entitled to, simply because I was born gay and fell in love with someone who happens to be of the same sex as I am.
What is in the middle of we can't tolerate prejudice and hate against a group of people?
When you have activist judges who are creating positive law, meaning whatever they feel like on alternate Tuesdays.
We care about whether children are raised by their mother and father, and that the word for this idea is marriage.
Where's the baby? Make nice baby. Want to give the baby a kiss? Give the baby a kiss. The baby kiss. Mwah.
My mother always used to laugh, and she'd say, I knew you were a lesbian before you did.
It would be like saying, well, I mean, you're black, but you're choosing to be black.
You know, when you have the social worker visits and the FBI checks and the fingerprint checks and the financial checks.
To be gay, it's not a mental illness. Like, they're perfectly normal, sane people that are gay. It's nothing that's, you know, some chemical imbalance in your brain that causes this.
She does have two mommies, and I use the word lesbian because that woman needed to hear that.
And because the Constitution guarantees full equality, and this law doesn't give full equality, the law is going to be struck down.
Oh, okay.
3 different ceremonies.
This is the story on the rings. Okay. This ring.